one more thing. Because it's positive psychology, it's a modern academic discipline, they will not talk about it, but they have interest in it. In fact, I'll tell you one interesting experience I had. I told you that recently I was invited by the American Psychiatry Association, the other APA, for a conference of religious leaders and psychiatrists in Washington, D.C. In the lunch break, the president, the ex-president of the APA, was a big man in the psychiatry world. And American psychiatry world is a big world because the largest number of psychiatrists in the world in America. They say that America has the largest number of psychiatrists and largest number of lawyers in the world, which does not say very much for the health of American society. Anyway, this ex-president of the American Psychiatry Association, because I was wearing this dress, he knew I was a monk. He told me that I actually spent in my youth, I spent 2 or 3 years in Japan meditating in a Buddhist monastery. And even now, he was psychiatrist, top level psychiatrist in USA, president of the American Psychiatry Association. Every day I meditate. So there is something beyond meaning, P-E-M, something beyond meaning. Call it moksha, capital M. So, yeah, the Kama, Artha, Dharma, Moksha. All right, I'll stop here. If you have questions about it or any comment about it, don't be shy. Yesterday, all the grown-ups were there in the Gita class. Nobody was shy. They had any number of questions. The kids are generally shy. Somebody has to do the icebreaker. Tell us your name and ask the question. Yeah, I don't know if it's on. You can go there and ask the question. Yeah.
Hello, Swamiji. My name is Rohan. Thank you for this forum today and the talks that you've been giving past few days. My question is linked to both what we're discussing today and what you had mentioned yesterday towards the end a little bit. It's about desire and how you mentioned that in most of the cases it is the root of the suffering. So my question is, how do we bring the cessation or not having many desires into our day-to-day life without being in a sluggish or tamasic state, as you would say? Because it seems to me like in key areas in our life, such as doing good, learning, helping people, which are key components of happiness, there is some desire behind that as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think Rohan has asked a really good question. Yesterday we were talking about Gita, and I also mentioned Buddha. Both of them, Krishna in the Gita and Buddha, they came to the same conclusion that the more desires you have, more unhappiness you have, and reduce desires to go beyond unhappiness. But what Rohan pointed out, that if you look at happiness, H is equal to P plus E plus M. Behind each of them, there are desires. It could be a desire for a video game or a bar of chocolate, that's P. It could be desire for playing a game with my friends outside or studying my favorite subject in the library, that's E. Or it could be a desire to do something for my friends or community or other people, help people, or some larger cause like the environment or whatever. So that's also desire. In that case, how can giving up desires lead to happiness? If you don't have those desires, then you will not get happiness. Very good question. Now, notice one thing. Pleasure gives the least amount of happiness and it quickly goes away. Engagement gives more happiness, and meaning in life gives much more happiness. And moksha is supposed to give maximum happiness. In each case, you will see pleasure, engagement, meaning, the desires are becoming less personal and larger and wider. They are more, see, in the case of pleasure, I want to relax, I won't do anything and just relax and have some fun. That's pleasure. It does not involve anybody else, it's just I. But when you are engaged, when you're talking about engagement, literally the word engagement, you have to engage with your school or your office or your community or your sports team, whatever it is. You are already moving beyond your own self. And there, you see the level of activity and engagement is much more. You are not consuming passively. You are actively doing something, maybe playing a musical instrument. Listening to music, great. Actually trying to play a musical instrument, even better, even though you may not be able to play it the way a professional plays it. So, the nature of desires, the more you refine it and make it higher, higher means not physically higher, involving more people, not just for my own pleasure, but moving from pleasure to engagement to meaning. And then the happiness keeps on increasing. You are right. Let alone all that spiritual talk. If you have desire, the first thing that it does, if you want something, the first thing that it will do for you, it will move you from a tamasic state to rajasic state. From being lazy, I don't want to do anything, I want to sleep, that's tamasic. But if I want something, even like my favorite chocolate ice cream or whatever I want, I have to get out of bed and at least go to the fridge or go to the shop. So you have moved from tamas to rajas, activity, from inertia to activity. How did you do that? Because of my desire. But very soon I realized those desires are small and they will not give too much happiness. And you have a desire for engagement or meaning, more happiness. And then comes the question of transcending desire, going beyond desire.